Hey, welcome back to Yoga with Tim. I'm here today with my friend Heidi. Heidi's going to be doing the poses. Heidi's been taking class with me, how long? How many years now?
5 years.
About 5 years. She's come on some retreats. She has a beautiful practice. She's learned a ton. So she'll be demonstrating the postures while I teach. And today we're going to focus on opening up the shoulders. So we're going to do some stretches for the wrists, forearms, and for the shoulders to work our way up the arm, and then a little bit of like upper back and chest opening stuff. So this will feel good to kind of complement what we've been doing. We've been doing a lot of vinyasa yoga lately, which is a lot of this type of movement. So the chest can get really tight, the shoulders can get tight and internally rotated from doing too many push-ups and not enough of the opposite movement, the opposing, strengthening the opposing muscles in your back body. So we're going to work on, that was a lengthy explanation. Okay, so let's get started. We're going to start off in Supta Baddha Konasana with support. So once you move your dog out of the way at home, you'll be able to see this. So you're just going to sit on your butt with your feet in front of you with the soles of the feet together and the knees wide apart. One block will go for your upper back and the other block will go for your head, just like this. This first block goes for like for a lady, right where your bra line is, and for a man, right where a lady's bra line is. That's where you just put that block there. Okay, that's good. Then release your hands at your side, palms facing up. And yeah, this should be pretty good. The flat block and the medium block for your head. So just take a few moments here to let the shoulders start to relax, open, and then visualize your breath, where your breath is moving. And I want you to focus on breathing all the way down into your rib cage, all the way down into the bottom of your rib cage. And we tend to just breathe little shallow breaths and to let the chest and the front of the rib cage take too much of the breath, as opposed to touching the breath into the back body and letting the tension in the back body start to spread and expand and release. So just start to take your breath down into your bottom ribs and feel your back ribs start to expand, even though the chest is being supported. Then take your arms up to the ceiling and grab a hold of your elbows. And then just as you inhale, let your arms start to fall back. And they can rest onto your forehead, or if you're more flexible, they could drop over your head, back behind you. Then bring your arms back up. Change the clasp, grab a hold of the other elbow. And slowly let the arms fall back. Then bring your arms back up. Lower your arms at your side, and then roll over to your right side. Press yourself up to seated, and then take child's pose. So in child's pose, have your big toes together and your knees wide enough for your ribs to fit in between, and then just let your hips release back and down like there's a weight on your hips. And so today is your more restful day, your more restorative day. On the 7th day, we just take time to mellow out and open up areas that might be stuck from all the work we did in the practice thus far. So Supta Baddha Konasana is a great way to kind of unwind. You can use it at the end of the day. That's a great pose that I'll put myself in to just kind of let the stress of the day melt off and to get a little opening in the chest and in the hips. So, and this is a great pose to then complement doing Supta Baddha Konasana, all the opening you got. Now you can just let your lower back start to open and spread and let your hips open. Let's take a down dog. So come up onto your hands and your knees now. Curl your toes under, lift your knees and stretch back. And just hold in your dog pose for 5 breaths. As you press down even into your hands, start to feel your arms, your arm muscles start to work. And then someone really liked this this cue that I gave a few days ago, but pretend like you're being lifted up from your hips like this, like someone has a rope across your hips and they're pulling you up and then back. So that you start to get more of the work into your legs. Over time, this will feel like a restful pose. Like initially it feels like so much arm work maybe, but over time as your back body opens, it'll feel like you're working your legs and your arms more evenly, and you could hang out here for a long time without fatiguing. Then set your knees down, and let's do some bovine feline articulations for a few rounds here, a little bit of cat-cow. As you exhale, round your back and look back at your navel. Inhale, arch your back, wheel your chest through, and tip your sit bones up. 2 more times, move with your breath. Last one. All right, then come into neutral with your spine. And then put your right hand behind your head. With your right hand behind your head, as you inhale, start to turn your chest and open your chest up to the right, like you're doing a little twist here. And then as you exhale, slide your right hand behind your left wrist and reach over to the side like thread the needle, baby thread the needle. So as you exhale, take that right hand and then slide it, turn your chest. And then as you inhale, come back up, hand behind your head. And we'll move in and out of it a few times. Confusing, I don't think I've ever done this with you, Heidi. Open up your chest. And as you exhale, start to turn your chest and slide your wrist under. One more time. Inhale, come back up. Hand behind your head, open up your chest. And then exhale, slide your hand, and we'll hold this last one. So with that arm extended out in front of you, just take the left arm and post it up at your side and let your neck lengthen, let your lower back lengthen. Then come back up onto your hands and your knees and put your left hand behind your head, open the elbow, and start to turn your chest open to the left. Inhale. Exhale, slide your hand under. 2 more times. Inhale, come back up, hand behind your head, turn your chest open. Exhale, slide your hand under. Last one. Inhale, come back up, hand behind your head, open up your chest. And exhale, we'll hold, slide your hand, and just hang out there for 5 breaths. So as you're holding here, try to stay even on your knees and your hips. Try not to let the hips swing off to the side. And then if you like, you can walk your right arm all the way overhead and extend it towards the front of your mat. Good. Come back up onto your hands and your knees now. Then curl your toes under, all 10 toes under, and start to open up through the soles of your feet. Then walk your hands forward. So this is like kind of a modified down dog. Keep your hips balanced right over top of your knees, and just start to walk your hands as far forward as you can into the shoulder stretch. As long as it doesn't feel like you're going into pain. If you have some issues with your shoulders, you might not want to go so deep in this one, but if you can let your heart start to melt towards the floor to open up the shoulders in this more passive kind of version of down dog. Good. Then walk your hands back towards you. And stretch back to active down dog now. All right. Then we'll do a little hip opening sequence here before we do our very restorative poses. So step your right foot up to the outside of your right hand for lizard pose. Left knee down. Cool. So in this first lizard variation, Just start to let your right leg open up to the side, kind of like you do in tree pose. And then, so Heidi's like very open in her hips, but you just keep your foot over there. Heidi's very open in her hips, but for you, it might feel like you're rounding over to have your hands on the floor. You could put your hands up on blocks if you need to help to open up your hips in this position. But if you feel open on your fingertips, then you're fine. Yeah, I think you're okay on the fingertips.
Okay. Not open though.
All right, so just a couple more breaths here. Just keep turning that thigh out and let the groin release towards the knee as you stretch the knee away from you. Okay, then bring the knee back towards you and curl your back toes under, lift your back knee up. And as you stretch to your back heel, breathe your spine long, spread across your collarbones, and keep reaching both of your sit bones straight back behind you. Then step back to downward dog. And from down dog, step your left foot all the way out to the outside of your left hand. Lower your back knee down. Then start to turn your left thigh out. You just keep the hand on the inside of the foot there and see how far the knee will open up. Come up onto your fingertips if you need to start to open your chest, but you don't want your back hunched over in this position. So come up on blocks or up on fingertips so that the chest is open, like when you have the block in your upper back, same type of feeling. Good. Then bring your knee back into the midline, curl your back toes under and lift your back knee up. And start to reach back through the inner heel. As you elongate through the sides of the spine, reach both sit bones straight back behind you. You might have one side hip that wants to sneak out to the side that feels tighter. So for Heidi, I know on her left side, her left hip always wants to kick out to the side. So I just took my hand into her hip crease and pulled it back a little more. You could do that for yourself. If you have a hip that you notice is tighter and wants to sneak out, just draw it back so it feels more even as you're lengthening through your waist. Step back to downward facing dog. Good. Then from down dog, walk your hands all the way back to your feet and take Uttanasana. Pull forward, let your head drop. Okay, now check this out. There's something that feels really nice about having your hands flat while you're in Uttanasana. It creates kind of this energetic seal, if you will, almost like a bandha. So try putting your hands flat onto blocks. It could be tall blocks, medium blocks. Heidi's able to do it on the flat blocks. So whatever height stuff you need under your hands, let's try that now and let the head drop. If I had an extra block, I'd put it underneath her head too. Excuse me. And feel free to bend the knees as much as you need to let the spine release. But if you can work the legs straight and it feels fine on your back and everything, yeah, go ahead, work the legs straight. And then inhale, flat back, come up on your fingertips. Bring your hands onto your hips and come all the way up to stand. All right, then interlock your fingers in front of you. Turn your palms inside out, Urdhva Badangalyasana, raise your arms up. Good, so as the arms are going up, be careful not to let your waist sink forward. Strong through your legs, root down through your feet, rise up through the sides of your ribs. Then bring your arms back down and take the other index finger on top. And then do the same stretch. Turn the palms and raise your arms. Good. And just be mindful that the floating ribs don't try to tip forward and up, but tip them back into your body so that you have space through these back ribs like we practiced at the beginning of class, breathing the back ribs open. Rotate from the outer upper arms forward so you feel space across the back of your neck. So you're going to tip these ribs in just a little more. Okay, that's even better. Good. Then turn your palms to face each other and extend past your fingertips. Good, then drop your left arm to the side and side bend over to your left. And as you're reaching over, stretch down through your right hip and through your ankle and breathe space into your right side body. Then come back up, raise your left arm up, and drop your right arm to the side. Side bend over to your right. Come back up, both arms up, reach up, Urdhva Hastasana. So the more that you stretch out your armpit chest and your shoulders, the more your ribs will want to sneak forward and up to accommodate for the tension in your armpit chest, which is this area of your chest and your shoulders. So see if you can keep your ribs tipped in as you stretch the arms longer. And you feel you get more of a stretch. It doesn't feel as free at first, but eventually you'll start to feel more freedom and it'll start to feel second nature. Okay, good. Then bring your arms back down and set up for Prasarita Padottanasana. Stand with your legs wide apart. Yeah, and then fold forward. All right, so we're gonna do the hands interlocked variation first because Heidi's decided to do that. And she's gonna interlock her hands, turn the shoulder blades onto the back, and then start to fold forward. For some other reason, she's decided to turn her back to the camera, which is nice. Go ahead. Go ahead and fold forward. All right, cool. So just make sure that your shoulder blades are drawing towards each other. Like I put a pencil in between your shoulder blades and you're holding it. And then, just so you know, there's a tendency when you're straightening your legs in this pose for your shins to want to move back faster than your thighs. Instead, hit the brakes on the shins or move them forward just slightly and draw your thigh bones up. Don't push the legs back right now. Just draw up and stretch down through your feet. Okay, then set your fingertips down. And as you inhale, make a flat back at as much length as you can. Exhale, walk your hands back. And then we're gonna let the head drop onto a block so that the crown of the head drops down. That's good. Okay, now actually this is kind of nice, this view. I'm just gonna slide this dog out of the way here. Come over here, Ollie. Okay, good. So from this view, you can see what's going on with the wrists in this pose. Ideally, you want to have a 90-degree angle here to where your wrist drops right underneath your elbow and your elbow bends straight back. Now, if your wrists and your forearms are really tight, it's going to be more limited. So you practice stretches like the one we did, the hands reverse stretch, or the Badanguliasana stretch to help to open up the forearms and the shoulders. That'll all help here. Start to lean your hips forward over your heels and let the back of your skull drop down. The head doesn't have to touch something, so if you're like leaning to get your head down, don't do that. Stand on your legs, let the head drop. If it drops onto a block, cool. If not, no worries. Now inhale, flat back, reach your heart forward, come up on your fingertips. And because it was such a long hold, bend your knees a little bit, and then use your core to come up. Hands on your hips and stand. Okay, cool. Now let's sit for Gomukhasana. So have a seat on a flat block. And then take your legs like crisscross applesauce. And take your left heel to the outside of your right hip as you cross your right knee over your left knee. Good. Then bring your awareness to your spine. As you anchor down through your sit bones, allow the whole spine to grow tall and lean your chest forward right over your hips. Then take your right arm behind your back from under. So the thumb internally rotates and then you slide it underneath. Then take that shoulder head and draw it up towards your ear and then let it roll back and down. Then take your left arm straight up to the ceiling. Bend your left elbow and stretch your fingertips towards each other. So if you're able to touch the fingers or bind one finger or two fingers, cool. But if you have to distort your chest or the height of your neck or position of your head to get the bind, then it would be better just to use a strap. You can fill in the space with a strap or grab your shirt or just work on stretching the fingers towards each other. So more important to me that you have this upright spine as you're doing this arm stretch instead of like jamming yourself into it. It's never a good idea. All right, cool. Then release that and change sides. So now cross the left knee over the right knee. Take your left arm out to the side. Turn your thumb down so the arm internally rotates, and then bring the hand up behind your back. Roll the shoulder head up, drop it back and down, and then raise your right arm straight up. Externally rotate this arm. Turn the tricep forward, feel the upper trap release out of the neck. Now bend your elbow and reach your hand back. And keep feeling your roots, your sit bones reaching straight down as you breathe your spine upright. Nice, then release that. And change the cross of your legs again, but this time for Ardha Matsyendrasana. So the right knee will go up instead of stacking over the left knee. And then twist to your right. Hook your leg with your arm, right fingertips behind you, and look for just as much height in the spine as you had in the last pose. Turn from your left side belly up towards your right shoulder. Let the right shoulder head roll back. Good, then come back to center and try it on the other side. Change the cross of your legs. And twist to your left. So seal that leg in towards you. In the full pose, in the classic pose, your elbow will actually hook on the outside of the knee. But I like this variation initially to help to open up your glute med. You might feel like you have a lot of tension there. And until you can release some of that tension to get the elbow to hook better, I think it's better just to keep your arm wrapped around like this. You can decide in your body, try the other one, see what feels right for you. Then come back to center and stretch your legs out, sit in Dandasana. Okay, great. Then take your hands a foot behind you. And we're just gonna do like reverse plank prep. So turn your shoulder heads back, lift your chest, open your chest, and we're just gonna work on opening up all the chest muscles from all the tension, from all the vinyasa, all the chaturangas that you did all last week. So start to balance out some of that. Just 2 more breaths here. Good. Okay, release that one. And then next, I have this bolster that we're gonna use. So this is a really cool bolster that my teacher gave to me. If you don't have a bolster like this, you could use pillows. I think I used to use like folded up towel, a pillow with some folded up towels on top to kind of mimic this shape. So whatever you got at home, but we're gonna take legs up the wall. You've done this one before. So to get into this one, you'll lie down with your butt close to the wall, and then you'll take your legs up the wall. So you lie down on your side, and then swing your legs up. And then whatever you're gonna use underneath your butt, you can just slide it under with your hand. So you lift your buns up. Heidi will kind of show us, and she grabs that bolster and slides it right underneath. Okay, now you want it so that you want the bolster enough under your back or whatever support you're using so that your frontal hip bones and your ribs are at the same height. So let me see, I'm gonna bring it a little closer towards you. Lift your buns. There, even a little more. Okay. So it's almost like you're letting your butt drop off the edge so that the front hip bones and the front bottom ribs are right on the same plane. And then you can just let your hands rest wherever feels comfortable. You can take them like cactus arms. You can take them like cactus arms. You can put them on your belly or straight down at your side. Which one do you want to do? You like the belly? Okay. So just do the hand position that feels most comfortable. Let your shoulders relax, close your eyes. And we'll use this time for shavasana today. If it feels uncomfortable at all, if you're feeling any strain in your lower back from the support, remove the support. If you're still feeling any strain, then you can just lie flat instead for shavasana. So just close your eyes, let your awareness drop inward. Then start to bring your awareness back to your breath. Bend your knees and roll over to your right side. And then press yourself up off the bolster and have a seat. Sit up tall with your palms together. Let's close the eyes for a moment. And just take a moment of mindfulness now to observe, to notice. Then bow your head to your heart. Lift the head and open the eyes. Thank you. Namaste. All right, so thanks Heidi for coming out. We'll see you here tomorrow as well, I think. And we have a new yama for today. We've been going through the yamas, and today is brahmacharya. So this is often translated as being celibate. So in certain paths of yoga, you would practice celibacy, like if you're to become a monk or something. But in hatha yoga, for the householder, for the common person, we just look at it as practicing not going to excess. We say that our body has a certain amount of vital energy, and how we allow ourselves to let out this vital energy all has an effect on our body and our psyche, and how much energy that we get from our practice. So if we're able to practice not going to excess, then we're able to feel replenished and whole ourselves. So when we practice, even like the physical practice, so related back now to the physical practice, we don't want to be practicing to the point of excess, like where we're draining ourselves. So if you're feeling like that from the challenge, feel free to take a day off, do a rest day, do the mellow restorative video instead, and then come back to it when you're feeling like you have the energy for it. And we'll talk more about this tomorrow too. Okay, thanks. Make sure to hit the like button, subscribe if you haven't subscribed yet. What the heck, subscribe, and also leave a comment below. Love to hear what you thought, and see you tomorrow.